We find ourselves confused with this life. We have questions that seem to never be answered. Why are we here? What was the purpose we were created? If it wasn't what the Gnostics said of total loose harvesting and creating events that create negative energetic manifestational frequencies that make sure that we're soul trapped. If it's not for that, then what's the purpose besides that, right? It's hard to think of anything else, but what are we really here for? Obviously, we're not here to be happy. How many of us are really happy? How many human beings can genuinely say that they love their life, they're happy, they're successful, and all their stresses and worries just goes away and disappears into the vapor and into the aether, right? Not too many people can have a good life. And the way I look at cities as giant loose harvesting energy fields, meaning that in the city you have the hospital. People are getting sick, that produces loosh. People pass away, that produces loosh. And the families grieving and crying, that produces negative emotions. The doctor, whether he did it on purpose or an accident, whatever emotions that is, they experience emotions. The hospital, you have multiple scenarios like that playing out, and then they call their family in Texas and say, you know, somebody passed away, and then that spreads more loose around the world or around the country. Then you may call your other family who live in the UK, and they find out, and you can see how you see where that's going. Plus, in the city, there's car crashes, there's criminal activity happening, there's people screwing each other over, people screwing each other over, people backstabbing each other, betraying, all types of shit goes down in the city. It's like a real life Grand Theft Auto game. I mean, Grand Theft Auto is based off real life, you know. Yeah, there's some extreme scenarios, but pretty much some of these scenarios is what, you find people doing some crazy shit. Like that one guy back in the days who built that metal tank and went on a rampage, before they finally stopped him, right? There's like we live in a terrifying reality. It's a terrifying world. It's hard to really put into words, but it's easy once you see it because you know that the world that we really live in is just horrific. It's horrifying. It's terrifying. It's it's like it's just made to piss you off at times. You ever notice certain things that go on and it's like, what the hell? Like, so you're telling me like this whole time that light was green, and then right when I come up, it just magically turns red. But the way it turns red, it just turns red fast, as if it was waiting for me to do it. Like and some people may think it's just little, maybe you're in your head too deep, but I don't know, man. It's like little stuff like that can set you off because it's just an accumulation of negative events that leads to an explosion of an emotional degradation and emotional irregulation due to all the irritation, basically meaning that all the little crap you take, all the disrespect that you take, eventually you're going to explode. Eventually you're going to explode on somebody, somewhere, someone that's hard to hold that in. Which is why we must find peace and find hobbies and topics and things that we're interested in. We have to, because that's our only outlet for guys like us in this position, we don't really have that much. And the little we do have, it seems to be taken from us. It's like something doesn't even want us to get a grip. Something doesn't even want us to even have a piece of sanity. It wants us to have insanity and lose our humanity and just be trapped with this vanity. I don't know what this something is, right? It could be the demiurge, it could be something else, but whatever it is, it doesn't like humans. It doesn't like us prospering. It doesn't like us happy. It doesn't like us laughing. It likes us miserable. It likes us, in a position of having no power. When you have no power, you feel powerless, because you can't really control anything in your life. How can a man feel powerful if he doesn't really have any control, or if he can't even get a girl? He can't even get a woman. That negatively affects a man's confidence, which correlates to his accomplishments. This is why, is it always like that? No, it's not always like that. But there's a vast majority of men that if they would have had something or someone in their life, giving them fellatio with a high ratio, letting them hit it from the back and making that nanny smack, that would have gave them some energy to succeed. That would have gave them some energy on those days when they felt worthless with no purpose. Sexual magic is real. Sexual energy, sexual tension is real. you know and when you have that energy with another being, with another soul, with another spirit, you have that intimacy, it builds something, it creates something. Yes, it can be destructive. Yes, just because you have that doesn't mean your life is going to be perfect, but there's people out there that have that and it's damn near perfect. Well, I'm not going to say perfect, but There's guys out there that have a beautiful woman in their life that really cares about them. Even if she would cheat behind his back, she still like holds it down in multiple ways, right? Look what happened with Jeremy Meeks. There's a prime example of what I'm trying to say. Certain guys, based on their attractive level, they can have women actually come save them, or have even people. That you can even have like there can be dudes who see you and they see that you get women, and then off of that they'll respect you. Off of that they'll let you in their clique. They'll let you join their little gang or whatever. Of operatives, and you join the operatives, and that opens up your social circle. Now their friends become your friends, their associates become your associates, their contacts become your contacts, and that's how you expand and grow. And you did that simply because you're just an attractive person. Meanwhile, a person that doesn't look attractive at all, they're going to have a hard time building up networks, building up associates that are essential to entrepreneurship. How you supposed to be entrepreneur all by? I mean, you could do it all by yourself, but for certain things, you do need people in the industry who got connections to get you certain places, man. Because there's certain doors that can't just be opened just on raw luck and talent, right? There's certain levels to this. There's invisible levels. There's invisible ceilings. Like right now, you can't just have $100 million in your bank account. Like if you had $100 million in your bank account, they're going to question you. They're going to see where that money came from, and if you can't show the proper paperwork, even if it's in your bank account, they can just take it away from you, right? It's crazy. Like the government wants to know everything about you. You got to pay taxes. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to orchestrate a way to give them money. Meanwhile, they orchestrate ways to take money from you. You go to the damn ATM. Oh, that's a little that's a $3.50 freaking ATM fee for using your own card. It's just like, what? That's like a way of, isn't that, how is that not robbery? You're getting somebody is taxing you for you using your own money with an ATM fee. Like who created that ATM fee? That's just so greedy. Like you already got enough from taxes and you still want to nickel and dime people that have nothing. And you want to tell me this is not a soul trap world? Where you're already going through misery, pain, isolation, desolation, and all types of other irritations and spiritual degradations, and things still try to bother you, try to psychologically destroy you, try to physically just break you down to the bones and to the essence of your freaking survivability. And they wonder why people like us, we develop strong, strong hearts and strong souls, simply because we've been through messed up situations that forced us to become strong. You don't become strong overnight. You become strong over years and a series of negative events that changed your mind, changed the way you thought, changed your belief system, and just changed almost everything about you. I wish I could go back in time. I wish I could go back to the time where I can just be happy. I can just be me. I can just be free. I can just have the things that I always desired. Like like what I mean is like the things that I always desired. It seemed possible when I was younger. Like when I was younger, the things like the impossible seemed possible. But now that I'm older, you get that more realistic mindset, and you understand the things that were meant to be were meant to fucking be. If you're not a millionaire yet, if you don't have a woman yet, if you're broke and trapped and depressed, well, that's just the way things are meant to be. Because something wants you in that vibrational frequency when you're not totally happy, when you're not totally satisfied. Have you ever noticed this world always wants you unsatisfied? You eat a cheeseburger, a couple of hours later you're hungry, you got to eat again. You drink some water a couple of hours earlier, or 15 minutes later, or a couple of hours later. You gotta drink some more water. You got a sweet tooth. You get a bit of cake. And you want some more cake, and then the cake is gone. Now you gotta get some money to get some more cake, and it's just that you gotta use the bathroom after you eat all that delicious food. You gotta do the most disgusting thing to release all the toxins out your body. And that's every single time you eat something. Every time you put something in your mouth, it has to come out. Who designed that system? And it's disgusting and grotesque. Yet we all do it. We all have to use the bathroom. We all have to take showers. We all have to brush our teeth. We all have to keep this body that's eventually going to fade away and out of existence anyway. We have to keep it alive, because somehow a lot of people believe, and it's not their fault because it's the way the world's taught, is that this physical world is all there is to life and existence. That's what they teach us. They embed that into our minds, that everything that we see, everything that we can touch and feel, that is reality. And they hide the other realities. They hide the higher realities. They hide the other dimensions. And they do that on purpose. And when we pass away, it's going to be a battle. You're going to face all types of terrors of the darkness and the abyss. Be prepared. Many people are going to fail because their terror is going to be too great and just going to give in to the demiurge and just say, forget it. And the demiurge is going to, it's not going to just be a fast thing. There's different types of spiritual places that you're going to go through anyway, whether you submit or not. That's going to be torturous. Right? This is a true hell realm, man, and it's not a game. It's terrifying, really. When you really look at everything, it's insane how you just got to keep on carrying on day after day after day like a machine, like a robot with no soul. Where's the passion of life? Where's the thrill of life? Where's the thrill of adventure and energy and the synergies that can make us feel powerful? Why does this world thrive off of us feeling low? Like the world, it thrives off of us feeling low, and it thrives off of us being impoverished. That should tell you everything that you should know about this world. It thrives off of our suffering. It thrives off of our pain and our agony. What kind of crazy shit is this? Think about it. What kind of crazy world is this that thrives off of your pain? It thrives off of things that make you go insane. It thrives off of your agony. It puts you in these situations where you want to get out the situation, but it's so difficult. It feels like damn near impossible to get out the situation. You may want to be successful in something, but it's just impossible because you don't have the mind, you don't have the time, you don't have probably not even the talent. But even if you did have the talent, it still doesn't guarantee success. It's all about who you know in this world. Who you know, not what you know. It's who you know. You know the right people. You can be like Paris Hilton, Wasn't her grandfather a billionaire? She didn't have to do anything. She just inherited all that money and wealth and success. She just had to look pretty, and just smile for the cameras and make millions. Some people really have it that easy in life. And I understand there's esoteric things that go on behind the scenes, but you got to understand, due to YouTube and due to like normies and the masses, I can't really get too deep in esoteric. That's what I'm opening up a Patreon where I can really go deep into the esoteric and the secrets and the mysteries that are not really, because, certain things, there's some deep truth in there, and the demiurge will probably go on an assault. I mean, we've seen what happened last time with me when I started getting deep into the demiurge, But I'm just telling the truth. I'm just speaking from my heart. I'm just speaking from my soul. There's no fucking agenda. I'm just speaking from my heart, man. I feel like this world is it's terrible. And I feel like it's unbearable. And I feel like it's nothing that you can prepare for, really. And if the soul trap is real, the fact that we get our minds wiped and erased in every new iteration and irritation of this life situation, that fact alone proves that this God is evil and wicked and sadistic and is up to no good. A good loving being would never ever want to confine you and restrict you. In the Gnostic text in the Pleroma, the monad wants you to create. The monad gives you the ability to create instantaneously, to make your own worlds and realms and creatures and peoples and cities and whatever you want. Indefinitely, infinitely. But even with that, I think there's something even above the monad, because it's like, even though the Pleroma sounds cool, the fact that Sophia could make a mistake, that should have never happened. And the fact that it did has me worried. It's like, that's something that should have never happened, but it did. So where does the fault lie? Who messed up? Who made that mistake? Right? Like, for a perfect realm, there should be perfection, not imperfection at all. So that shows me maybe that's not the highest heaven either. Maybe there's something even above the monad. Maybe it's something even above the Pleroma that we can't even imagine. How far does this go? Who's the original God? And if you get to the original God, what's outside that? And what's outside that? Then what's holding that? You see how this never ends? It's like that Russian, what's it called? The Russian Easter egg, when there's like an egg within an egg within an egg. So you got a universe within a universe within a universe within a universe with a sub-universe. It's just, where does this end, man? What the fuck? And why do we have to be in a reality of so much pain and actuality? Like, why do we have to be in a reality with pain and actuality, and pain that causes, just soul draining? Why couldn't we be born in a reality where it's just nice, it's peaceful, there's no war, we're all happy, we're all successful, we're all rich, we're all wealthy, we all have food, we all have this, like we all have our needs met forever, and we don't even need to die, we just live forever? Where's that realm at? Where's that realm where I can be an anime character, and slay and fight demon lords and fight monsters and save the princess of the empire or whatever the hell. Where's those cool worlds at, man? Because this world we're living in now is just not it. It's not cool. It's wicked, evil, twisted, and sadistic, and it's very annoying.